Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful, amazing planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays with your host, Marc, Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. How is everybody doing this morning? I got a couple spiritual prospectors joining me this morning in search of your own spiritual gold. We're going to be talking today about an interesting topic that's kind of come to my awareness, if you will. But before we jump in and before we get into the conversation, or what I like to say, spiritual chats or spiritual prospecting, grab your coffee, grab your tea, take a nice deep breath with me. Let's move into the magic of the moment. Celebrating life, celebrating adventure, celebrating today. So give it a second for just a few more people to jump on. If you guys would be so kind, I was not able to share out today. Facebook's kind of acting up. But if you guys would be so kind to share out, I'm just going to say good morning to some of you. Good morning, Lara. Good morning, Jeanette. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Rosie. Carol, good morning to you. Christine, good morning. Misty, good morning. Kimberly, good morning. I see you guys. I see you tuning in. I see you hanging out with me this morning for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, which is an inspirational show for the week ahead. I found that Mondays are usually the most lowest vibration day of the week, and I've been doing this for 2 seasons now to where I inspire people. Talk about a topic, talk about some guidance, some I don't know, maybe some healing, maybe some insight, maybe thinking outside the box. But Metaphysical Mocha Mondays is an inspirational show for the next 30 minutes. And at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to switch over to a prospecting Q&A after show, but I've renamed it. I'm going to start calling it the Healing Cafe. And the Healing Cafe is to where we have spiritual chats, free readings. Could be psychic, could be mediumship, could be about awareness, could be about your own intuition. So make sure to check that out, because this video will end here at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then it premieres over on my YouTube channel. So make sure to get on my YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and just paste the link in right now. The link is in the description as well of this video. So if you want to get on my YouTube channel, which is now over close to 275 different videos, diving, hiking, meditations, events, Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, Inspired Living Radio, my podcast. Great way to interact with me, and I'm almost at 200 subscribers, so help me get to that 200 threshold of amazing spiritual prospectors. I know it doesn't sound like much, but you have to start somewhere. You don't build Rome in a day. So this morning, welcome to you. If you're brand new, let me know that you're brand new to the show, and if you guys would be so kind to share, like, subscribe. This would just helps grow the show organically from a grassroots level. But today I'm going to be talking about the distracted mind, Pavlov's dog, if you will. And somebody's throwing up some angry faces. Why is everybody angry this morning? Shouldn't be angry. No anger here. This is positivity. This is inspiration. This is coming together, not dividing. This is community. So I'm not sure why I get an angry face, but maybe I'm getting trolled. Who knows in this day and age. But this morning I'm going to talk about the distracted mind, and I'm going to talk about Pavlov's dog, and I'm going to give you I want to read from a quote real quick, if you don't mind, a mantra. The book recommendation, this is a book that I continuously come back to. It's called You Were Not Born to Suffer by Blake Bauer. He's been on Inspired Living Radio. That's what he looks like. Really just a very inspirational young man, and he was on the show a year ago, I think. And so if you can go to marklainhart.com and catch all my podcasts off iTunes or YouTube. But I always refer back to this book because it really is about You Were Not Born to Suffer. And that's kind of going to tie into today's topic, which I'm talking about. Got some first timers joining. Hi, April. Thanks for joining. First timer. So this morning, though, I'm going to talk about Pavlov's dog. And the reason I'm talking about Pavlov's dog is there's a sense of conditioning, even myself, of what I've been going through the last month with my own spiritual alchemy, my own transformation, dealing with low testosterone, getting testosterone shots, taking new supplements, just a spiritual, and the alchemy process is changing, and we're all changing. But what I learned with working with my naturopath doctor is the conditioning effect, how we're conditioned for certain things. And I'll get into the details of what I'm talking about with Pavlov's dog. But if you're not familiar with Pavlov's dog, Pavlov was a psychologist from Russia in the mid to late 1800s. And he had been wanting to learn about how dogs digest their food and how he would ring this bell, and then he would put food out, and the dogs would come eat, and then he'd ring this bell, this little metronome. He'd ring this metronome. It's kind of what you heard at the beginning. It was kind of this bell that you're hearing right now, this metronome, if you will. And even if you think about that sound, some of you may actually resonate with that because that's usually a clock. Like I think of like a grandfather clock that does that. It might trigger a memory. And Pavlov had in a sense, had kind of accidentally discovered this conditioning effect, because what he found is when he'd ring the bell and he put the food out, the dogs would actually start to salivate. And he actually referred to it as psychic salvation, salivation, salvating, psychic salvating. Sorry. Maybe there's some salvation in that, but psychic salvating. And when he would no longer put the food out, he would still ring that little metronome, that little bell, and he would notice that the dog would condition to that sound, and they would actually just start salivating. And so this morning, we're going to talk about kind of what's going on with our society. Are we becoming Pavlov's dogs? Are we becoming so conditioned? You kind of clue in. It's kind of based on technology. It's kind of based on the cell phone that you're either watching here, your iPad, your computer, that technology effect. But this morning, I wanted to just share that with you because it was kind of my own transformations, because of the first half of my career, I spent 8 years in the U.S. Coast Guard and 13 years as a firefighter. And my naturopath kind of clued me in that you've been conditioned the first half of your life. So anytime I'm doing mediumship, anytime I'm working in an event, anytime I hear a fire truck go by, it's like Pavlov's dog, that siren, that working in the emotional stuff of mediumship, somebody that's lost somebody, that triggers for me that psychic salvating, if you will. And so for me, it's been just the testosterone to battle, because what happens is the cortisone releases into the system, which is a stress hormone. So it's hormones, really. And your estrogen and your testosterone actually work to balance and move stuff out. And so for me, I've just had, in doing this work over the last few years, my testosterone has bottomed out, and I'm now taking shots to kind of uncondition my body, my mindset, to not being conditioned to my early years as a first responder, as a firefighter, as a coastie. So it's been kind of an interesting learning curve, to be honest with you. And the work I do, I have no problem sharing with you guys. You guys know that I'm pretty open and honest about my journey, about my soul adventure. But this morning, I'm going to just share with you about that distracted mind and how we're so easily distracted and we miss a lot of things that are going on. But let me just kind of read a few things from this book here real quick. It's called Key Affirmations. Again, this is not me. This is from You Were Not Born to Suffer by Blake Bauer. So make sure to share out the video, guys. Appreciate you sharing. Make sure that you like. Make sure you subscribe. I'm also going to, last week I told you that I've hidden some keys in my YouTube videos. So if you go over and you subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, and you look in the comment section, you're going to find some keys to claim your free class to my Learn It Live classes that I have over at Learn It Live, which are online classes. They usually cost, but I put 5 keys out there. I've gone ahead and put the link in the description field down below for my classes, and I'm also going to be offering some other things through the Healing Cafe over on my Instagram channel, which is the Intuitive Prospector. I'm doing crossover shows on the Instagram channel now, and I'm going to be hiding a few more keys out there to claim. If you want to claim your stake like a prospector, claim your keys to the free classes. I'm going to also be offering in the Healing Cafe an opportunity to have a personal invite for a deep healing meditation. So if that's something that you're interested, it's going to be through the Zoom platform. I will be charging $5 for that. That is literally a PayPal link. You pay $5. It's literally equivalent to a cup of coffee. But it's something I want to grow, and I've changed the after show now from the prospecting Q&A after show. We'll still prospect, I promise, but I'm calling it the Healing Cafe, because right now, guys, we need to have some healing. We need the world is going a little bit chaotic right now, and I've even had to defriend some people on my social media accounts, something that I just can't stand for. If you are into white nationalists, if you're into dividing, if you're into bullying, if you're into senseless violence and acts of crime, I can't be associated with that. I can't have people in my network, my colleagues or friends, and I've actually had to defriend 3 people this week because of the support. Not getting into politics. This is about right or wrong now. So this isn't about left, center, or right. This is just if you defend something, you support something, and I can no longer be a part of any kind of. I posted on my page, my political views or anything that kills people or anything that really kills our planet, I'm against it. And we're at the point now where I'm really trying to keep moving forward in a positive mindset. But when you have violence and when you have people that are acting the way they are, we can't we got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And so if you're following my show and you are in support of bullying and racism and sexism and you're in support of white nationalism and terrorism and ignorance and bullying, then please don't follow my show. Please unlike my page. Please do not be friends with me. It's just not something that I want to be a part of anymore, and I've drawn the line in the sand. And sometimes you have to take a stand. And the reason I say that is because my brother was killed from a hate crime. My brother was killed from a racist hate crime, and I stand up to that. So get off my soapbox now. Just letting you know I've had to kind of clean up my friend list, and I've had to get, unfortunately, I'll love him from a distance, but just won't be associated with that because I just don't support that. So you defend it, you support it. But the key affirmation is what I want to share with you this morning, and then we'll get into the conversation. I'll give you also your prospecting stone, your totem animal spirit, which is really cool, and, of course, your numerology number for the week. But this morning I want to just read this key affirmation because I do think it's important as we move into the magic of the moment to celebrate life, to celebrate peace, to celebrate harmony, to celebrate coming together and community, because we don't see that right now, and we need to make a change. And the key affirmation is this: deep down I know I am a good person. Everything happens for a reason. I forgive myself for the hurt I've caused others. I forgive myself for hurting. My mistakes in life have been purposeful and necessary. I forgive myself for not knowing how to love myself. I forgive myself for the pain and disrespect I have allowed. I forgive myself for not being true to myself and for not valuing myself. And that's a key affirmation, and it's from the book I'm recommending this week. I come back to this a lot. It's a pretty good read, but it's called You Are Not Born to Suffer. And there's a lot of us out there that, we do suffer. We do move into that place of fear, and fear is not a real thing. Fear is a construct. Fear is a thought. Fear is something that we buy into, which is false evidence appearing real, something I don't buy into. Blake Bauer is his name. Really great guy. Go to marklainhart.com and catch the podcast we did with him last year on Inspired Living Radio. But I read that affirmation because it just comes back to we need to forgive and we need to let go and we need to continue moving forward, making this world a better place, making our community a better place, giving back, paying it forward, smiling at a stranger, helping the homeless. Here in Seattle, I'm here in Seattle, Washington, and I'm going to be heading downtown here after the shows today to teach a CPR class down at Harborview. And I get off and I take the bus down, and I see a ton of homeless people. There's just there's an imbalance within our society where we're not taking care of everybody. You've got the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer, and I see it on the streets of Seattle. And I'm hoping that we can have positivity. I hope that we can move forward with our consciousness and our mindset and not be so distracted from what's going on around us, because that distracted mind, if we don't start paying attention, things are going to get worse for us, guys. We want to make it better. We want to move into a place of hope and healing and have that to where we're not distracted. And that's today's message, the distracted mind, called Pavlov's dog. Are we becoming Pavlov's dog? And if you don't, like I said, if you don't know Pavlov, look him up. He's a psychologist that had he mistakenly discovered conditioned societal conditioning. The act of being conditioned by a bell like this. So that's what I'm talking about today. And let's just talk about scenario one. Let's talk about how we're becoming Pavlov's dog and the distracted mind through our cell phones. The smartphones and I've watched the smartphone. I used to have the phones that, yes, they used to have a tail on it with a long cord. Over time, the smartphone has gone from a handheld landline to a smartphone that you carry in your pocket. And just take a second. When that phone beeps, and I even got it on my wrist now. This is connected to my iPhone. When something beeps, what do? We go and we look at it right away, right? It's that conditioning of, like Pavlov's dog, we hear a bell, our smartphone goes off, and we look at it. Was it an email? Was it a text message? Was it a Facebook notification? Or was it just that, that phantom vibration? The psychologists have been looking at this for a long time as far as this... the technology also contributing to anxiety. They've found that when you take people's cell phones away, especially the younger generation, for those of you that have kids, I work with a lot of clients around the world now, and a lot of them are coming to me because they're worried about their children, the anxiety that their children are facing. And they found when you take the phone away from somebody, especially the younger generation, they start to have a little bit of anxiety. So it's created, in a sense, the technology has created a sense of Pavlovian concepts as far as conditioning. Are you pulling out your phone to look at it? Are you having the distracted mind? Another one is if you're standing in the market and you don't want to make eye contact with somebody. And I do this myself, guys. So I'm not saying that I don't do this. I'm saying I do this, but I'm aware of what I'm doing, and I'm trying to be less on my phone. I'm trying to make more eye contact. But when you're down in Seattle, you're almost scared to make eye contact with people at times because you don't know if they're going to attack you. We've had attacks here in Seattle. We've had attacks all across the United States. And it's not just the United States. It's pretty frequent in the United States. But I was just even up in Canada, and I saw that. And just with the homeless, and you're not sure if you want to make eye contact. So what do? We go right to our phone as a form of distraction, distract the mind. When you're posting on Facebook, your social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, there's a lot of people that are following Twitter, which is, causing division with people. So you have to ask yourself, is social media a good thing, or is social media not such a good thing? Because we're more connected than in any part of history, or we are more connected through technology and social media, but we're more disconnected than we ever have been in the history of our planet and of our society. So it's just something to think about. So, are you waiting for that Facebook response? Are you waiting for that Facebook like? And like I said, when I first started, I was all about trying to build my likes on my Intuitive Prospector page, which there's a lot of people now, and I built it over the years, but I got caught up in that. And now I really don't care. If you like my page, great. If you don't like my page, that's okay too. Because I've kind of evolved and moved past that. I've kind of unconditioned myself to be caught up in the social media rat race. But we're looking, at our friends' accounts. We're looking at, other people living their adventures, living their lives. And then you have to wonder, are you living your own life? Are you living your own adventure? One of the quotes I want to give you is something that part of my philosophy is: jobs will fill your pockets, adventures will fill your soul. And that's why I call it Soul Adventures. And I actually have a closed Facebook page called Soul Adventures, about 3,000 prospectors sharing the world, sharing their life. If you want to get on that page, just go look for Soul Adventures and join that community if you would like. But even in other concepts I've seen when out with friends or out to dinner, some people are actually agreeing now to take their phone and put it in a basket during dinner, so you don't have that wanting to look at your phone. But then look around. If you do that, look around at how many people might be a little bit more anxious, or they might be a little bit more wanting to have their phone or get up and go to the bathroom so they can check their phone in the bathroom. So you'll notice it. This Pavlovian effect based on technologies. They did a recent study. I was reading Psychology Today, kind of just to add to the show for this morning. And again, I'm talking about the distracted mind, because when the mind is distracted, that is where you miss the magic in the moment, the spirit world, those that are around you, the etheric feeling of those that have died are still a part of you, your own intuition, your own psychic. It's very subtle energy. and we're so distracted that a lot of people miss it. And so people ask, how do you do what you do, Mark? How do you do psychic? How do you work with your intuition? How do you work with awareness? How do you do mediumship? It's because I find a place of not getting distracted, not having the mind get distracted. So with that, I also want to say thank you to my colleague Glenda McLeod, Minister Glenda McLeod up in Canada, for inviting me to do a DEM this week. And I was up in Canada for a DEM and a workshop. It was an awesome time being at her church, the Universal Brotherhood Spiritualist Church. I have to say that 3 times fast. And it was a pleasure to meet everybody. So if you're watching the show, thank you for coming out and allowing us to do a little spiritual prospecting and connect to your loved ones. And then yesterday we had Sundays with Spirit, which is here at Inner Alchemy here in West Seattle. We do this once a month with a group I'm a part of called the Platform Development Group, where we practice, and you can come watch us practice and be a part of that reunion of connecting to your loved ones, having a voice for the voiceless. So just want to give a shout out to Candy and to Darla and to Denise for joining me yesterday in that soul adventure to bring a lot of peace and healing to those that turned out. We will have our next event September 21st. We do it once a month at Inner Alchemy. So if you want to learn more about getting your ticket, getting your claiming your seat, and claiming your spirit person when they come to make a connection, just go to marklainhart.com or internet search the Intuitive Prospector to get those tickets. The website will be up here shortly this week to get your tickets for September and October. Those dates will be coming. So, and I look forward to being in Spokane here in a few weeks for another weekend of DEMS and connecting to your loved ones. So I was reading Psychology today. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm just fascinated with the mind. And again, I'm talking about the distracted mind. Are we all becoming Pavlov's dog? And in a recent studies, they had taken about 220 undergrad students, and they actually had them use this app called Instant Quantified Self. So again, instant quantified self, and I have this on my phone to see how much I'm on my phone. Do I trend up? Do I trend down? And what it would do, it would actually it would tally the number of times that an individual unlocked their phones and how long it remained unlocked. So again, that interaction of being on your cell phone, that Pavlov's dog, and then taking the phone away and seeing how they would respond when the phone was taken away. And it was interesting. I mean, on average, the average student of participants were slightly older. They averaged about the age of 25, on the study that they did. But they found that roughly through this study, that about 60 times a day for about 3 or 4 minutes each time, people would unlock their phone, check their phone. And it added up to about 4 hours a day. So think about that. That's just the average undergrad at the 25-year-old age. Now think about your children that are younger. I've seen studies where some of these children on average are on their phones, their iPads, they're interfacing technology for 8 hours on average per day. So you're seeing this transformation, if you will, of communications, of the mindset, of how we're interacting through society. Maybe that's the reason society is a little bit more in chaos because of that, because we've missed that interaction of the physical experience and being, actually talking to somebody and looking in their eyes, being at dinner and having a conversation. So again, if you want to check out that study, it's through Psychology Today, and it's called "Are We Becoming Pavlov's Dogs?" And I wanted to talk about it because even my own, I've been conditioned with the early part of my career as a first responder, as a coastie, as a firefighter, that I still sometimes my body, from a hormonal standpoint and from a mindset, unconsciously responds to my external environment. And part of the transformational spiritual alchemy, the spiritual change, the spiritual, what I call the awakening that caused the shaking that caused the awakening of why I'm even doing this work today, through the tragedy of losing my brothers and my father-in-law, very young and very tragic, is my body's still conditioned to where I'm at. My doctor's telling me, okay, we need to get you on some very high supplements. We need to lower your cholesterol, and you need testosterone shots to actually balance, because your body is actually kind of working against you, which then runs the risk of cardiac, which runs the risk of stroke. Something I'm very familiar with because I'm a teacher, and I'm actually, after today's show, I'll be heading down to Harborview to teach CPR recertifications, to teach awareness to cardiac and awareness to stroke. So it was kind of eye-opening this last couple weeks. I know some of you have sent me some love and support, and I really thank you for that, because there was a real battle with vertigo and dizziness and keeping my balance. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And it started 2 Mondays ago when I was about to go live on this show, so I had to cancel the show because I was just spinning so bad. So it's kind of just getting that regulated and kind of unconditioning yourself to your conditioned mindset. And this goes for everybody that's listening to the show today, that we get conditioned, whether it's on a bell, whether it's on a relationship, whether it's in a career. And hopefully I'm helping you today to think about and bring awareness about how to uncondition your conditioned self, the distracted mind. What can you do more to move into not being so distracted? Lose the cell phone, lose the technology for a little bit. I always remind the tagline, take the time to disconnect so that you can make the time to reconnect. Getting out in nature. Got a Forest Friday spiritual hike coming up this Friday here in Seattle. We're going to Nature's Water Slide. So if you want to get on that hike and get out and get away from the technology, we have people put their phones away. We get out in nature. Nature's our greatest healer, our greatest teacher. And again, the jobs fill your pockets, but the adventures fill your soul. And, how many soul adventures are you having? Or are you finding yourself just stuck within the world of technology and your cell phone and with that distracted mind and being Pavlov's dog? So that's the message for today. At 8:30, the show will end. It will premiere over on my YouTube channel. If you want to stick around on the Intuitive Prospector page, make sure to like, share, subscribe, because you'll get noticed every time I come on. And I will be doing some special classes coming up. I'm going to be talking about numerology, going to be talking about the power of attitude and gratitude, and you might want to check it out. I'm going to be charging a little bit for it. It's going to be through the Zoom platform. You'll get a special key where you can claim your key, that link to come join us. And I'm actually changed the name of my show from the Prospecting Q&A After Show, which starts at 8:30, to the Healing Cafe. And you can join me in the Healing Cafe at 8:30, where I will actually directly talk to you. We'll have readings, live chats. You may want a card, ask me a question. It's a lot of fun. I do that for about an hour. It's my way of giving back and paying it forward and helping others spiritually prospect for their own spiritual gold. And if it is mediumship, I usually have you come on video, or you can call into my business line, or we can have a chat. So with that, let's get into your messages for the week. So like I said, the book I'm recommending, re-recommending, is You Were Not Born to Suffer by Blake Bauer. Great book. I read a mantra from earlier in the show from that, so you may want to go back and catch the recap of that. But the card for this morning is a double 55, and this is interesting. I like how the synchronicities play out, because this morning I usually don't have any kind of script or planning when I'm doing my shows, or an event, really. And the card that I picked was Adventure. And the Adventure card is a double 55, which is about being that freedom, love, and adventure. And this morning I'm talking about the distracted mind and are we becoming Pavlov's dogs. And the Adventure card comes as the Adventure card that I pulled. So I said, you know what, let me just see what kind of crystal I feel. So I opened up my little crystal Bible book that I have, because I'm always learning about crystals. And that's kind of the encyclopedia of crystals. Really good book. And I just opened up to a page, and guess what page I opened up to? I opened up to Adventuring. Adventuring is actually known as a stone that is a positive stone of prosperity. It has a strong connection to the grids, your gardens, geographical stressors. It's actually good at bringing understanding of what lies beyond the conditions. Adventuring stabilizes one's state of mind and stimulates perception and enhances creativity. So, there's the actual page that I opened up to, and I had to mark it, Adventuring, and then I picked the Adventure card, and I thought it was kind of cool, so I said, you know what, let's keep going, let's go with that flow, that synchronicity, that energy, because if you want to unlock the secrets of the universe, you think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. The universe doesn't speak English, guys. The universe doesn't speak Japanese or Italian or Chinese or Russian or Latin. It actually speaks your own language. And so the last one that I picked was from the Animal Totem Spirit book, who I've had Dr. Farmer on my show, podcast a couple years ago. Fantastic guy. Refer to his book all the time. And the Totem Animal Spirit for this week, because we're talking about soul adventures, we're talking about being that freedom, love, and adventure, going back to that childlike behavior, maybe having not such a distracted mind and enjoying the life that's going on around you right now, is the unicorn. So when I actually just randomly picked the book, I've got Adventure, I've got Adventuring for the stone, for the crystal, and then I picked the unicorn. And the unicorn is really just simple. Suspend your disbelief and open yourself to perceiving any and all helping spirits from the non-visible world. So the unicorn helps you let go of your worries and responsibilities for a while and just play and have fun. So I just thought that was kind of interesting because it just kind of synced up this morning because of what the message is this morning is talking about the distracted mind, not becoming Pavlov's dog. And then I got a card on numerology, which is a double 55. 55 is all about freedom, childhood, being childlike. And then we got the adventure as the word, and then we got adventurine, and then we got the unicorn. So all those combined is your message for the week. That's your inspirational message for the week. I hope that you'll listen. That's why we have 2 of these and 1 of these, and you'll go out and you'll celebrate life, and you'll pay it forward. It's the golden rule: treat others how you like to be treated. And that's really true in today's age, regardless of politics, regardless of religion. You know, like I said, unfortunately, I've had to defriend some people and take some people off my page because of their comments and their divisity and their wanting to create division. And I don't put up for that. I had to draw a line in the sand and say, enough. We want to move into a place that welcomes everybody and treats everybody equally and fairly, just as the Constitution of the United States tells us to. So, thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm going to be back here in about 30 seconds for the Healing Cafe. So you'll want to stick around, and you'll want to share the page out or invite people in. And again, this will be premiering over on my YouTube channel. Go ahead and click on that link, subscribe, because if you miss the live show, you can always catch this, or you can catch the podcast of Inspired Living Radio, which we're in our 4th season, heading to our 5th season, actually. So a lot of cool shows, a lot of great way to kind of just educate yourself. And I always say education leads us to knowledge. Knowledge leads us to wisdom. Wisdom leads us to enlightenment. And I just want to leave you with the quote I had for this morning. Jobs fill your pockets. Adventure fills your souls. So thank you for tuning in. Stick around. Stay tuned for the Healing Cafe, which will be here right back here in about 30 seconds. And this will premiere over my YouTube channel. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. And I'll see you next Monday for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.